Hello, and welcome to this episode 6 of Your Brain Simplified, because I am not a doctor. Last week, I was talking about how our early learnings and our emotions are very heavily tied together, and how they start to form and respond. They are a way for the deeper part of our mind to respond to our world, and they are faster than your conscious mind. And the reason for that is the simplicity in the communication. The emotions are biochemical and your thoughts are electrochemical. So the two can communicate, but one triggers off faster than the other. Because if you've ever gone to fall, you're not thinking, where can I save myself? What can I reach out to? Too late, you're on the floor. Whereas your body will respond to that much faster. So this week, I wanted to talk to you more about what happens when those emotions are triggered. Now, in the most part, we manage them, don't we? We're terribly British, and we either hold them in or explode and then just forget about it because we've dealt with it. However, for a smaller number of people, so even if this is not you, you might know somebody who is, and it's worth you listening to this to understand what is going on. For a smaller number of people, they can be triggered for what seems to be the smallest of things. But for you, it's small. For them, it's not just small, but it is an accumulation of things. So I talked last week about your early learning, and I've talked about the emotional content. It doesn't stop there. Every time you see or experience your trigger, it builds, and another emotion builds, and this motion is linked to builds, and it builds, and you get this stacked approach that goes on and on and on, so that sometimes you've got so much there in terms of the triggers that they are appearing in all manner of areas of life. So take a phobia. I may have mentioned this before, but if I haven't and you're new to this, a phobia is a really good example of how we can be hijacked emotionally really, really quickly, and no amount of reasoning will sort it. Early learning with regards to, say, a spider, and then obviously the emotion. Now, that early learning may not have had anything to do with the spider, but your unconscious has chosen that the spider is the problem. Somebody has run through from the room screaming about a spider. Somebody has jumped onto a chair because there's a spider. Who knows? So consequently, the next time your unconscious sees a spider, it says, oh, spider, I know what to do. This emotion. Oh, this spider again, really not good. Another emotion. Spider, emotion, spider, emotion. And you start to get this build effect, this compounded effect, if you like, of emotions. I've used a phobia because they are one of the most extremes that you can have. People who go through significant emotional events, an accident, some sort of trauma, a big shock, such as losing a loved one, these can also be big triggers. They've gone, instead of stacking them, they've just gone bam, and they're very big. And it's really important that you understand, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Because when the person is in the emotional state, you cannot logically talk them down. Their body has decided they're under threat. You telling them what they have to do may work in some instances, but most often doesn't. And the best thing you can do is calm them down. Start to mirror the feelings of calmness, which you may not feel, but try it. Breathing slower, breathing deeper, being with them. If it's appropriate, taking their hand, and just allowing them to work their way through whatever it is that they're going through. Anxiety is a big one of these. People who are having a anxiety attack, or the next step up, panic attack, all you can do is be with them. They have got to work through this in their own way. But just having somebody there is enough, albeit that it can be scary. So those are the more extremes. But let me tell you a story of somebody I used to know. I'm going to call him Ian. He was going about his work, and he was well respected and well known for the fact that he was very quick and could get things done, and things were sorted out. But if he got let down, boy, did you know about it. He just blew a fuse, as they would say back then. Oh my God, Ian's at it again. And the whole office would hear him. And I worked in a bank at that point, and it wasn't just the office, because we had it opened onto the banking hall, so the customers could hear it. So it was really not good. And I have no idea to this day what was his trigger, but he would just fly into a rage just like that. So for us who were reporting through to him, it was quite a difficult time. For his peers, they'd just have a word with him. They could do that. And then there's Jen, who worked as a project manager, and she was used to engaging with multiple levels of people within the organization. She could deal with suppliers, and she could work with the clients. Get her to stand up and present to the senior management team, she was a ball of nerves. She was so scared. She was sometimes known to have to throw up in the toilets. Not great for her, and potentially for those around her. Both these individuals were really good at their work, and on the whole, you didn't see these effects impacting the work that they did. But what you did see was the effects on them as they were building up for, or where they just found out. And of course, the people around them had to deal with that. It was not their fault. They had been hijacked by their emotional body. And all you can do at that point is just be there for them, calm them down, like I said. You can then go back after it's all settled down, probably a day later, and then have a conversation with them to find out what's happening. The body has taken over. That's what's happening. And for most of you will have heard of the freeze, flight, and fight. For the most part, the body will either freeze or flight, and that can take many forms, not necessarily running from the office. It could be that they suddenly, withdraw, go quiet. They may just find that you're not getting as much out of them because they're in a difficult situation. And then when you do get to talk to them, please use the how and what questions. They're not judgmental. They allow the person to work through what was going on. So, what happened yesterday, and, how can we help you? So, in summary, if you are coming across anybody who's having a little mini meltdown, or is really struggling in some way, be it, fear, panic, or anxiety, just be them. Let them work through it. And then when they come out the other side, have a conversation with them. All they need right now is support. It's not something that they are able to control, because for those of you who've ever tried controlling your emotions, you can only do it for so long. I hope that was interesting. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery, talking to you about the brain simply as I can. Thank you.